Do you have a motto that you live by?
Not really, but within soccer, it's more of a there's always that people that's going to be probably better than you in the sport that we play. But to me, it's like let's see you can work the hardest. Let's see you can. In our aspect of what we do is like we run a lot of cardio and stuff like that. So it's more like you don't outwork me. You might be better skill wise and talent wise, but let's see you can work harder. Let's see you can run the full 90 minutes, and I do very well within that category of working hard.
So you challenge yourself sort of every day when you're on the field and you're competing against your teammates. So that's sort of what it's
Yes,
like?
yes, exactly. Yeah, that's what it is.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's great. And is there somebody that maybe you look up to as a good leader or a hero, somebody that kind of inspired you to play soccer at the next level?
Well, yeah. In the sport industry, you always someone always has a story, right? Not
Mhm.
everyone grew up having the best life, and sometimes you just push through. And speaking for myself, like yeah, you never know where you're gonna end up. So yeah, I just look at the stories and from different players, and I keep motivated within that the stories that I hear and learn from that, and keep me going and striving.
Yeah, there's always somebody to look up to. And I think that's really important when you're going for your dream is to kind of look up to somebody that'll help you push you to get there, right? And motivate you to get to that next level.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about the leadership, but what are some of the qualities that you would look for in a good leader?
Oh yeah. There's a lot of influence that yeah, the bad influence, the good influence that you can take sides on, and yeah, what you look for in a leader is that someone who is not afraid to say what's on their mind, someone who's not afraid to say their opinion, someone who's not afraid to ask a question, and yeah, you look for those different qualities in someone that stands up for themselves and is not afraid, and yeah, it's all about confidence within yourself and not being afraid to say what's on your mind and knowing what's right and doing it. So then you make that example to all the other people looking in. And then they see you doing that and they be like, okay, then I should follow this guy or I should do what he does because that's the right thing. And yeah, me, basically, that's what I look for.
Yeah, those are really great qualities. And I think that can be said a lot in school. If we talk about bullying or something like that, it's somebody who stands up and who does the right thing in terms of, standing up in front of that bully and pushing them away. So that's a really good message. And I think those qualities, everybody is able to have those qualities. So it's
Exactly, yeah.
how you use them is really important. Exactly. Now, you're talking about a lot of good qualities, and I know that you're a great person, but everybody has a weakness.
Mhm.
So do you have a weakness? And if you do, how do you work on those?
Oh, yeah. Well, as I said, taking it back to soccer because it goes on and off the pitch, right? Sometimes you might not have the best day, or you feel down, and like, yeah, you don't get out of the objective of what you want to do and what you strive for. So I think on the bad days, that's when you work the hardest. That's when you stay mentally in it, and yeah, you keep focusing on the goal, and that's the main thing.
Yeah, staying focused on the goal for sure. Was there ever a time where you felt insecure about your position of leadership, or maybe you thought, oh, I'm not good enough for this, or something like that? Was there ever a time?
There are times probably I think it happens to everyone. You kind of sort of doubt yourself until you're in the situation and you get out of it, and then the confidence is like, oh, and then you breathe out and you be like, yeah, I got over that one. And yeah, there's times like it happens to everyone. You be down, and that's why I say from in the beginning, there's that one person that you need at your side to kind of pull you back up, and like that's what you look for in people around you, right? So yeah.
Really important. A lot of the messages you're saying is talking about and surrounding yourself with the people who are going to help you and push you and inspire you and not let you down. And I think that's really important. And you can tell when you're on a team that you respect the teammates and the coaches, and you're all kind of working towards that same goal. I think that's a big kind of a big task of leadership, really.
Yeah, it is.
Was there ever, we're going to kind of go into a little bit of a deep question here, and feel free to give us an example if you have one, but was there ever a time where you felt an act of racism towards you, or you felt prejudice And if there was, how did you react to that?
To be honest, I've never came across, maybe not like direct, but I've never came across like someone being racist to me or stuff like that. But what I can say is that we've all seen what's been happening in the world, and we know it's out there, and it's hard to get it like to stop it, because it starts with home and the parents and the teachings to the kids and all that. But I think once you have that strong mentality, then there's nothing that can stop you really. So to me, it's more like if someone calls you a bad name or they talk bad about you, like once they don't interfere in your space and they don't like physically touch you in terms of that, then yeah, but at the same time, you have to speak out on the right things. And when you see it happening, you say something. You don't just sit there and be quiet about it, because that's when the message goes out, when you say something, right? So yeah, I think the main thing is that talking about things and like not just watching it happen and not saying anything because you're not helping the situation. But me personally, yeah, I've never like witnessed or came across like racism.
Yeah, definitely important to stand up for what you believe in, and also, like you said, to help others through those struggles if that's there. Has physical activity or playing this sport, has it helped you to become the leader you are today, or did you learn that in other ways, maybe in school or something else like that?
I think it goes back to probably just growing up in general. Like where I'm from, Trinidad, there's a lot of bad influence that you can take, and you can. I could have been on the wrong side of the street, and then you know what? There's no more me today. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, it's that mentality and that know what you want, and there's no one else that can take you off that focus. And for me, that was a strong part of me growing up. So that helped me within my leadership roles that I play now within the team. And yeah, as I said, it's just not being afraid to stand up, and your opinion is super important. Whether or not you think it's wrong, then you can talk it out, and then you get to that part where you know it's right, and then you learn. That's how you learn, right? So yeah.
Wow, that's a really impactful message. Yeah. How can individual actions impact the experience of others when they're doing physical activity? So how can your teammates help you, I guess?
Yeah, well, in the sport that we play, as I said, it's a lot of running. So you come to practice, maybe you're tired, and then you look across, and then you see someone who plays in your exact position, working harder than you. Then you don't want that to happen because you want to play right. So then you have to work harder than that person. Then you push yourself, and then you push that person, and then you just keep getting better, and that's when the level goes up. If you have like someone around you that doesn't push you to your limits, then you just stay at one level, you don't go higher, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's some of the main things like in practice that we do. We keep pushing each other. Whether it's sprints that we do, like you don't want to lose. You always compete. You always want to win, right? So yeah, that's what we do.
I love that saying, pushing you to your limits. I think everybody can go just that little bit extra if they push themselves harder. So that's great that your teammates are there to help you through that, and you're there to help your teammates through that too. Yeah. So do you have a goal for the future, something that you'd like to do when your soccer career here in Halifax is over?
Yeah, well, I mean, as a soccer player or in the sport industry itself, is that you want to go to the highest level at one point. If you can make it, you try your hardest. You try to get up there. And for me, it's getting up to the highest level, but also being able to teach kids around you that's not never to give up. And because my story is basically everyone, as I said, has a story. And for me, it's like at one point I was like, should I quit? Should I get a job? Like, normally. And then eventually, boom, I'm in Halifax playing professionally. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, you always work hard and you go for the goal and you keep your mindset.
And if there was one piece of advice that you could give to kids that are listening right now, what would that piece be?
It would be, as I said before, never give up. Like what you believe in, like what your goal is. Like if you love something, you keep going at it. You keep trying, regardless of what happens during that course. You just keep going, and eventually you're gonna see the results happen.
And I'm sure you've failed many times before you got to where you are today. And I think that's a really important thing that we need to address as well. It's not always going to be a steady road. There's going to be lots of ups and downs along the way. But when you finally get to that big goal, those ups and downs are worth it, right?
Yeah, it is actually. It is.
Definitely. So I'm going to turn it over to the classrooms now, because I want to see if you guys have any questions for Andre. If there's anything they'd like to know about whether soccer or where he's from or himself or some leadership qualities, now is your time to ask your questions to Andre. So if anybody has one, she can put it in the chat box, or you're welcome to say it on the camera as well. Sorry, Martine, it's a little quiet. Can we hear you? Can we hear you now?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, that sounds pretty good.
Okay, so I just want to say how impressed I am with Andre and with everything that he's been saying. It shows a lot of leadership, and his answers are absolutely wonderful message to the children. And to reach your goal and to try your best, I think that's a very good message to be giving to children and others. So we're very lucky to have listened to you today, and to be able to be in this situation where we've listened to your leadership skills and everything that you've been sharing with us about your development and your route to where you are today. I think that's a lot of fun, and you've been enjoying what you're doing and having a lot of successes, which is absolutely wonderful. So thank you for sharing everything. I also have, before we have a question, because we do have a couple of questions, I do have a friend in the room that wants to say hello.
Oh, here we go. Let's say hi to the friend.
We're very lucky to have a Wanderers here at our school that is with us every single day. And we love Monsieur Andre, another Andre. And he is very quiet. He is very quiet about who he is and being a Wanderer. He doesn't advertise it by any means. But I know, because I've asked him lots of questions. So I told him that he should come and take part if he could. So he wanted to say hello and
Thank you for joining us. Nice to meet you.
Yeah.
Are you a teacher at the school? In what grade?
Grade 1.
Oh, that's the same grade my mom taught. Very, very cool.
Yeah, so there's an example. I know he's probably speaking right now, but there's an example. Andre was a really good leader within the team last year, and I've learned a lot from him. And he got the experience, so he always try to teach, and he always try to keep guys on the right track. You know, so there's a good example. I'm happy that he's here, and happy to see him.
Oh, that's so awesome. That is so great. Thank you so much for popping in and saying hi, Andre. Kind of hard to hear you guys. I think the Wi-Fi connection is a little slow.
that's okay.
No, it's okay. Thanks.
Thank you.
So, anyways, we're whoops, I just lost you guys here.
Oh, did you? I can still see you.
So no, I've got it.
Okay.
So we have a couple of questions. I guess.
Fantastic.
So we have a couple of questions that the kids, when we're talking about heroes and leadership and everything, but they have a more specific question regarding Andre. The question was, when did you start playing soccer, and when did you know that you were going to start playing professionally? Like, how did you feel when you found out that you were chosen? Sort of. That's the first question.
Okay. Yeah, it started when I probably at 7 years old. I started playing at home, semi-professional, and yeah, I kept going, and then I started doing pretty well within the sport, and I just kept myself motivated and kept going. And at age 12, 13, then I was introduced to a professional team, and then yeah, I was doing pretty well, and I kept going, and I just kept getting better every year, and yeah, eventually I got to the higher level, and now I'm here.
Wow, excellent. So how did you feel when you were offered, like, to come to Halifax? The kids want to know, like, were you totally, like, did you think you were going to be chosen, or did you, like, how did you feel?
Oh, I think when it happened, honestly, I didn't know what to do, what to say. I'm not too much heavy on like church and stuff, but I started praying right away, and then I was like, thank you God for for giving me the opportunity, because this is where you want to be eventually in your career as a professional, and you just want to go higher. And to get the opportunity to represent a city that's so awesome is super good for me. Yeah.
Perfect. That's wonderful. Thank you. The second question that the kids had, because we made up two questions, was what is the most important thing about being a leader for you? Like being a leader in the community and being a leader on the team. What is the most important thing for you out of being a leader?
The most important thing for me being a leader is knowing is wrong and saying that it's wrong, and doing the right thing and giving that example to the people around you and the kids, of course, that this is what you should do, and you should always try to do the right thing. It makes it so much better and so much easier for society today if you do the right thing than if you go left and you do the wrong thing. So yeah, that's one of my biggest things with being a leader.
Thank you. Those were our questions that my class had thought of.
Those were awesome. Thank you so much, Martine, and the class. Those were great questions. Adriana, does your class have any questions for Andre? Got a couple hands in the air.
Can you hear us?
I can hear you, yeah.
Perfect. Hi, I just want to say, well, I think Martine said it well, but we just want to thank you for coming. And your message was really nice, and these kids definitely have a new leader to look up to, I think. So I'm super impressed, and thank you very much.
Thank you guys.
I think one of the students is, I'm going to give her the role to ask the question. So
awesome.
What was it like the first day of being a Wonder?
Oh, I didn't hear it properly.
She's asking, what was it like the first day of being a Wanderer?
Ooh, good question.
Oh, yeah, it was pretty nice. You get to meet new people. You come into a team where no one really knows each other, and then eventually you guys are family, right? So the first day was pretty awesome for me, meeting new guys from Germany, guys from different parts of the world, different languages. Yeah, so it was pretty awesome for me on the first day of being a Wanderer.
Okay, Alexis, presentation.
Would you ever want to be on a different team?
Probably one day I probably would get to a different team on a higher level. But within this league, there's no other team for me than the Halifax Wanderers, to be honest.
All right. We have one last question. I don't know if they were really excited to ask a personal question, but now they're all scared to do so. So we're just gonna say thanks.
Are you sure?
Okay, vas-y, Annika. Vas-y. They want to know if you have a girlfriend.
Oh,
Oh my God. Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
perfect. What a great answer.
Yeah,
I'm sure that some of them have social media, and I'm sure they can find you on social media and maybe find who that is. So you'll be able to follow not only the Halifax Wanderers, but I'm sure you can find Andre on social media. So those are awesome questions, you guys. Thank you so much for asking those. Andre, you did awesome. My very last question, and if you don't know, maybe Denai might know, but do you know when the Halifax Wanderers will play next?
If I know who we would play next?
Like when? Do you know when it is? Are we going to have to wait until next fall?
The season usually starts in April, early April. We start practicing in March, but like probably the first game would be early April. So hopefully the COVID holds up and everything gets better and we can be back at the Wanderers grounds, and then all of you can come and watch us.
That's right. I was just about to say, you practice right in downtown Halifax at the Wanderers grounds. Raise your hand, anybody, if you've ever been to a Wanderers soccer game. A couple people have. Listen, I wasn't a huge soccer fan until I started watching the Wanderers, and I think it is the most fun game to watch live. The crowds are crazy. There's blue smoke everywhere. Everyone's got their flags going. It's so loud. It's so exciting. I recommend you guys go and check it out. And now you can say that you've met a wanderer.
I told the kids now that we've met Andre Rampersad and we have Andre Bona on our staff, I said that maybe in the spring at one of the games, we would get tickets for the whole class to go together to one of the games.
Absolutely.
And meet you in person, maybe.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
that would be so fun. I think you guys should totally do that.
Would definitely.
Yeah. So we hope that that we get to see you play in the spring. This was a really awesome conversation. Thank you so much for joining us, Andre and Denai. Thank you so much for setting this up. It's so nice to meet you guys. And kids, I really hope that you took away some really important messages today. Most importantly, stand up for what is right. You know what you need to do, and it's important that you stand up for what is right and you show that leadership position to your teammates and to your classmates and your teammates and to your teachers, and really do the right thing and be a leader, whether it's now and growing up. Always be a leader. So really awesome conversation. Andre, thank you again so much. Hope to see you around. Best of luck in 2021 for the Halifax Wanderers season, and have a great day. And I'll wave goodbye to everybody. Thank you so much for joining us.
Bye, everyone. Thanks for having me.
Have a great afternoon. Thank you so much. Take care, everybody.
Yeah, you too. Bye.